So today we're down at Manchester Golf Performance Centre, where I teach out of, down in the centre of Manchester at Chorlton-cum-Hardy Golf Club, and we're joined by a special guest, Mr. Karl Morris.
Hi Mark.
Welcome, Karl, you alright?
I'm very well, thank you.
Excellent. So today, guys, we're going to be talking about the mental game. If you don't know, Karl is one of the leading sports psychologists in the country. You've worked with the likes of Graham McDowell, Darren Clark.
Over 10 years, Darren Clark, Louis Tyson, players like that. Yeah.
So, alright players then?
Reasonable players.
Yeah. Won a few majors then, haven't they?
That's been the secret over the years, make sure you work with good players, it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, you don't have to do as much work, makes you look a lot better. That's good, yeah. So today we're going to be picking Karl's brain a little bit and getting some of the fundamentals, what he thinks the key ingredients are to a solid mental game. Now, there's probably you guys out there at home who go out, play your rounds of golf and have so many thoughts in your mind. You don't know what to be thinking over a shot. You've not got a clear pre-shot routine. You've got certain shots you hate out on the golf course. And today we're going to touch base on those a little bit and sort of see what Karl thinks about those, what he thinks is important, how you can solve these things, and also build a good mental game. So, for you, Karl, just as a general outlook on the mental side of the game, what would you say that?
I think for me, in many ways, the mental game for most golfers is actually about reducing the amount of thinking that people do on the golf course. You know, when people say, oh, golf's 80-90% mental, I often say to them, well, when you're actually playing your best, when the game seems simple and easy, it isn't because you're thinking more, it's actually because you're thinking less, and you've got really clear ideas what you're trying to work on. You know, over the years with all the players, very rarely do I ever hear the top players when I ask them, what were you thinking about when you played your best golf? It's very rare that I hear things like, oh, I was trying to be positive, or I was thinking positive. The one word that has always come through over the years, when players play really well, is the word calm.
Yeah.
The mind is calm, the mind's still. And for me, that is something that you have to understand. You need to train that. You need to train your mind to be calm and still. It's like people who have a discipline of meditation. You know, every day they sit down and they meditate, be that for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is. And basically they're training their mind to be in one place.
Yeah.
And really that is a skill that if golfers looked at, even if they just started to do it, you know, small ways, they can make such a big improvement to their overall game.
Would you say it was like a sort of a cruise control state? So you're driving home from work, you don't really think about where you're going, are you? Just get in your car and you go, don't you? Is that a way you would relate to it?
Ultimately, but I think the great sort of paradox or contradiction that we've got is that when people say, you know, it's all in the mind. Well, it isn't. If you've got, you know, a dreadful golf swing and a great mind, you're still going to make loads of bad shots.
Yeah.
So you need to develop better mechanics.
Yeah.
Now, to develop better mechanics, you have to think about certain things in your golf swing.
Yeah.
But the whole goal should be that you're able to separate your practice in terms of mechanics, so that the person practicing and the person on the golf course are thinking slightly differently.
Yeah.
You know, when you're working on your golf swing, you can get away with some technical thinking. Get out on the golf course, you have too much technical thinking, good luck.
Yeah, would you say someone probably with 50% good technique, 50% solid mind is going to probably score better, play better than the guy with 70% good technique and 30% he's only there mentally?
I think what a good mental game does, a good mental game gets the best out of what you've got.
Yeah.
So you know, over the years I've seen a lot of players on tour who people say they don't swing it particularly well, they've got unorthodox technique, but they find a way of getting the best out of that. You know, Graham McDowell would be a very good example. You know, technically we would perhaps look at his golf swing and it wouldn't be one we would ordinarily copy or see as textbook. Yeah. But he gets everything out of his ability. Yeah. He gets everything out of his talent, and that's a very rare. That's a very rare thing.
A lot of people, when you do talk about Graham McDowell, it's a real greater fighting urge, isn't he?
The number of times if I ask people who's the player that you admire the most in golf, Graham would be right up there. Yeah. Because they see that under pressure, again, he's one of the few players, the more pressure you put on Graham, the better he plays.
Yeah, I think I remember you telling me a story once of a sort of rope, something you'd worked on with him, sort of getting a good fundamental.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Graham wouldn't mind sharing. One of the things that we've worked on over the years is the whole process of routines, and he told me, coming down the stretch in 2008, I think he was about to win the biggest tournament of his life, the Scottish Open at Loch Lomond. I think he'd got a 3 or 4 shot lead, and he's coming down the stretch, I think it was about the 15th or the 16th, he said, suddenly a thought entered his head that he was going to top the ball off the tee. I mean, this is a guy playing outstanding golf, one of the best players in the world. He thinks he's going to top it off the tee. So, you know, the guys watching this at home thinking that great players don't have these thoughts, they do.
Yeah, they're all there.
He said virtually every part of his body was shaking. He said, but he finally realised that was what we'd done all the work on the routines for.
Yeah.
Over the years, he said, because he got on that tee, he said, though he was moving around in the storm, he said that the routine was like a rope that he could hang on to. He knew that once he got on the tee, he had to do this, and this in his routine. And despite all the stuff going on, he was able to latch onto that and keep doing it and get through those chaotic moments.
Yeah.
And again, it's the same at every level for all the club golfers watching this. It's something that you can develop to get the best out of yourself.
Yeah. Would you say, like, obviously he's done something there, would you say there were stages to it? Would you put a routine in place and have something you do with every shot, or is it just one shot?
It's very individual, and that's why I would always say to players, you know, they need to work with the coach.
Yeah.
They need to develop their own routine. You know, there's so many cliches about, oh, you know, you've got to visualise the shot and you've got to pick a target and don't think about the swing and all these things. And it is very, very individual.
Yeah.
You need to understand. My whole thing is about attention.
Yeah.
The key thing is attention, is what is your attention on? Now, is your attention on something that's useful to you?
Yeah.
If it either is or it isn't.
Yeah.
Now, you can't just generalise. People need to understand the process that they need to go through as an individual, and it could be just a couple of simple things, but don't generalise. Some people don't visualise the shot. Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
Other people actually get great benefit out of describing the shot in the mind's eye verbally.
Yeah.
So it's very, very individual. But one thing I would say is you need to work with your coach to develop that. I call it the 3 phases. So every golf shot's got 3 phases. You've got your pre-shot, your shot, and your post-shot, and you need to develop all those 3.
Yeah,
Most people are only looking at the middle bit.
Yeah,
when you swing the golf club.
Great tip there, guys. So obviously, try and work with your coaches on what you want that the phase process to be. Obviously, look at some of Karl's stuff as well. He's got some books out there on it as well, so do read up. You can get some more tips on that. Moving on, what would you say is probably the most common trait in, like, your average golfers, your club golfers, being a bad trait? A lot of them, are they rushing ahead in their minds? You see, I need to par the last or birdie the last.
I think the number 1 trait with club golfers is poor practice.
Yeah.
One of the things that the brain tends to do is it responds to context.
Yeah.
In the sense that the person that we would be on a football terrace with our mates isn't going to be the same person that we would be in a church or a library.
Yeah.
Context makes us respond in different ways. Now, the context that we're practicing, for most people, we stand there on a big wide open range with a bunch of balls in front of us, hitting one club one after another from the same place. That context is as far removed from the context of golf as we can possibly have.
Yeah, you never get a second chance.
The context of the golf course is an ever-changing dynamic environment that we will never repeat the same shot again.
Yeah.
Every shot that you'll ever play on that golf course is a unique moment in time.
Yeah.
So we need to have a mindset for that. Now, the way most people practice doesn't develop that.
Yeah.
So yes, some of your practice needs to be on your mechanics, absolutely, especially in the winter time. But you also need to be able to practice in a way that simulates the game.
Yeah.
Gets you closer to what's actually going to happen on the golf course.
Yeah, so you're not bashing balls, you're trying to actually put some pressure on yourself, would you say? Like, I've done a few videos now, you've probably seen making your practice more productive and orientated to the scenarios we're going to find out on the golf course, like your par 18 games and playing against yourself, actually trying to make these scenarios happen in practice.
Completely. The key things for me are, well, what's happening on the golf course. I get one shot, one unique time, and I'm going to score it. And there'll probably be other people there with me. You don't play too many competitions in golf on your own.
No.
So
unless you've got no friends.
Unless you've got no friends. So if you can create those scenarios in practice, that's why it's great for once you guys are going down to the range and the 3 or 4 of you going together, create these games where you're putting yourself under a little bit of pressure. It's pressure but fun. Because all of a sudden when you're playing those games, you want to beat your mate, but you're simulating the scenario that you would have on the golf course.
Excellent, that's really good. And would you say, like as a coach for me down here at Manchester Golf Performance Centre, we can sort of help the guys on their routines? Is there anything specific you'd say for us?
I think specifically here at Manchester at the Performance Centre. Sorry, I got that wrong.
It's alright, it's Manchester Golf Performance Centre, guys. We all get stuff up now and again.
At the centre here, I would say in the winter time, work on your mechanics. But then start to develop those routines in practice where you're simulating the game, as I say, and start to make sure that you're aiming to have your golf swing ready for the season. You're going to get out there and play in the summer. You're not just going to keep working on your golf swing.
Definitely. Right, did ask the guys on Twitter who follow myself and you for a few questions, if you're okay to answer those. Touch on a few, I've picked a couple, just try and get them up. See if anyone's had any good ones to come. Where's a good one? Being rubbish at golf for 20 years, now improving with lessons, how to change mindset for accepting the worst? Strangely worded, that one from N. Duggs.
It's good that he's improving after all those years.
20 years,
great that he's stuck at it for 20 years. I always say to people that it's not negative to think of it in this way, is that before you play golf, is the acceptance you will hit bad shots. That the idea that you should just think positive and see good shots, that's not going to happen. The best players in the world hit a lot of bad shots. I think Ben Hogan said when he was playing his very best golf, if he hit 3 shots as he expected to in a round of golf, that had been exceptional. So the first thing is to accept that it's a game of mistakes. You're going to hit bad ones, but make a commitment that before you play, that whatever happens in terms of the shot, in your post shot, you'll deal with it. You'll deal with it based on the principle that what you've done in your pre-shot, you've done everything you can. I like to build in the idea that of those 3 phases, the pre-shot, the shot and the post-shot, 2 out of those 3 you have 100% control over. You can control what you do before you hit it, you can control what you do after you hit it. The middle bit will always come and go a little bit. But all golfers are looking for complete certainty and consistency in that middle bit. Well, good luck with that. You'd be the first person in the history of the game to achieve that. But if you get good at the first bit and you get good at the third bit, you get the best out of the middle bit.
Well, that's a good answer then. Hopefully you can take something from that. We've got a couple more. Mrs. Ingrid Stam, I think she's from Denmark or Netherlands. I always hit a bad shot when people are standing close. How can I block them in my view, ergo mine?
Tough to block them in your view.
Tell them to move back, maybe.
Because the fact we've got eyes, we're going to see things. It's like when people say, "Oh, don't focus on the trouble." Well, how do you do that? If you look around, the key thing is what are you going to be thinking last? And I like the idea of framing your attention, framing your attention with questions, in the sense that. If I said to everybody watching this video, what can you hear in the background? Immediately that question focuses your attention on what's going on in the background.
Yeah, it's the old pink elephant.
It's the old pink elephant scenario, yeah, you know, it's become a cliche now. Yeah. But what questions do is questions focus your attention.
Yeah.
So rather than trying to block out stuff that's there that we're going to look at, my view would be, as part of your pre-shot routine, is understanding how some good questions can focus your attention on what you want. You know, a very simple question like, what's the shot here?
Yeah.
If I ask a question, what's the shot here, on the tee, my brain has to answer it by creating images and you know, maybe a verbal description of the shot.
Yeah.
So I'm now focusing on the shot as opposed to anything going on in the periphery. The very worst thing you can do is try to not focus on something.
Yeah.
Okay? It's always going to be there. There's always going to be distractions.
Yeah.
There's distractions all the way through life.
Yeah.
But questions would be the key for me. Questions focus your attention.
Right, that's a good answer, yeah. So there you go, Ingrid, we've got one. Last one to finish with. Hoodley. Strange name. How do you stop your mind wandering? Mine is not necessarily negative, but it wanders.
I think it's a modern malaise for us all, really, that our mind is almost being trained constantly to wander. You're here doing this interview and you've got your phone there and you're looking at Twitter on the phone, so even though you should be concentrating on what we're doing, your mind is distracted. We're living in an age of distraction.
Yeah.
You know, you get up in the morning, you're looking at the TV, you're looking at your phone, someone's trying to have a conversation with you, the newspaper's in front of you. We've got very distorted attention. So in many ways what happens then on the golf course is we take that with us. Yeah. So our mind's still jumping around. A jumping active mind can be useful in certain things in business, but on the golf course it's deadly.
Yeah.
So it comes back to this idea of understanding that you need to train your attention to be in the appropriate place and to useful places.
Right.
So there's no simple answer to that. I think it's just a challenge of modern life, that there's so much going on, there's so much distraction. Life is distraction, yet golf requires concentration.
Yeah. I would, like for me, I think the mental game, and obviously you've been in it for a number of years now, is such an intricate thing, isn't it? It brings me back on to our next point. Myself and Karl are hopefully going to be doing an evening down here at Manchester Golf Performance Centre, probably March, April next time, where you can actually really pick Karl's brains, get some great outlooks on the mental game there. He's recently wrote a book, Attention, The Secret to You Playing Great Golf, and we'll probably be discussing this more in detail there, won't we?
Yeah, some more techniques.
I've read this, it really helped my mental game. I didn't have a great pre-shot routine before, so this has really helped me. And like I say, if you do come to this evening, you're going to obviously get a little bit more of this, and you probably will take some stuff away that you can implement into your game and really change your mental game and hopefully change your game overall. It's been great having you down here, Karl. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, and hopefully they'll take some good stuff from this.
One or two ideas that they can take away and implement.
Yeah,
but that would be for me overall. You know, I would say to everybody watching, golf isn't about the mind, just about the mind, nor is it just about the technique.
Yeah.
You need to work with your coach on improving your technique.
Yeah.
You need to understand what's the best way of you doing that, but also understand you need to develop your mental game as well. Have a think about those three phases. That's a real big key.
Yeah. Excellent. Right guys, as per normal, give it the thumbs up if you've liked the video. Do subscribe to the channel. Carl's also got one there, so you can go and subscribe to his. There is a link down below for Manchester Golf Performance website, where there will be details of the evening that we'll be holding. There'll also be links to a couple of other videos that myself and Karl are going to do today. And also, you'll probably see a link for the book, that you can go and buy that there. It's been a pleasure guys, see you soon.